The Defence Animal Centre, tucked away in the Leicestershire countryside, is the top establishment to train horses, dogs and instructors for the armed forces and other government departments. The busiest of all is the Canine Training Squadron, but the centre also trains the instructors that teach troops to ride military horses.
Well, there are procurements here, so some of the initial training takes place here, and then they're trained by the respective mounted regiments. So the King's Troop, Royal Horse Artillery in Woolwich, and the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment will do some in Windsor and some at Knightsbridge. So our job here is not to train people to ride, but to train the future generation of riding instructors and horse trainers for the mounted ceremonial units and the farriers.
The skills of a farrier is extremely specialist, and this is where they learn their trade. The team here hand make around 12 to 15 horseshoes a week. They're different from blacksmiths though. Instead of specialising in the different metals used to make horseshoes, they're experts at equine anatomy.
At the start of it, you learn basic farriery, so you learn the basics framework of making a horseshoe, the traditional parts of a horseshoe, so the nail holes, the angle of the nail holes, the style of the shoe, why that style of shoe is used. And then we start bolting on anatomy, and then start bolting on ailments and diseases, and then specialist shoes that come into those realms.
Okay, initially the shoes are removed, and then what we do, we go through a process of taking that natural exfoliation off. So we'll snip down, effectively the same as our fingernails, trim it down, remove the exfoliation, take the frogs out, clean the stone carriers out, and then what we'll do, take a ruler, apply it to the widest point of the foot, and again to the heels, to the toe. So for this instance, it'll be a 6 inches by 6 1/4 inches foot. From that we can take a measurement, apply our additional measurements, and then make the shoe accordingly. Okay, so the shoe's been made. We're going to do, bring it out of the fire. We're going to have a look at the shoe on the foot. So we'll just confirm that those measurements correspond to this shoe. Okay, so 6 inches and 6 1/4, so that should be right. Good us. Just confirming that that fit is on the horse. Okay, perfect.
Corporal of Horse Robin Hayden took a 4-year apprenticeship to become a farrier and wouldn't want to do anything else.
I joined the Household Cavalry as to be an armoured fighting soldier, and then I found out that I was actually presented with a horse instead of an armoured vehicle in 1994. Learned to ride, went through the whole of riding school, done all my ceremonial occasions down in London, public duties, and then had the option to go to the armoured regiment a few years later. I was lucky, 11 years ago I was given the opportunity to take my assessment as a farrier in Knightsbridge, and I've never looked back. I've been a farrier since.
Everybody got a piece? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Another man who loves his job here is Major Drew Toodle. He's the officer commanding the Veterinary Training Squadron. It's the smallest but a vital department of the centre, caring and treating around 500 dogs and horses. 8-year-old Zach has come in for an X-ray as he's had walking problems.
Zach is under quite a deep sedation, and so that's why he's nice and flat out. So we've taken the initial shots of his hips, and in order to then just examine his lower spine as well. So we're going to take him out of the cradle and lay him on his side and take an additional shot from another angle. So we just need to sort of slide him out of the cradle and then hopefully flop him still onto the table. So if we just go that way, I'll pull the cradle this way. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're too big, Zach. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We've got the 2 X-rays of Zach's lower back and his hips. There's nothing particularly abnormal, so whilst it's slightly strange he hasn't responded to the medication he's been on at the moment, it means we can at least rule out the arthritic change. So what we'll probably do is look at maybe changing some medications, try them on something different, and then try some alternative therapies as well.
Most of the care here is preventative, vaccinating and looking after the animals to ensure that they are fit for purpose and as healthy as possible.
the thing I like about it most is actually just watching the animals work. They really love what they do. And the people that then work with them, it's just a sort of a mutual relationship that they just sort of feed off each other. And I just like nothing better than watching these dogs chase down somebody, and when they're training and tail wagging, barking their heads off, and they're having a great time. And I still get a real kick out of that.
Zach.
The Defence Animal Centre here has been up and running since 1903, and it's clear that with the military personnel based here, their passion for the animals and their job, it's still the top-class training establishment that it's always been. Laura Hawkins, Forces News, the Defence Animal Centre in Melton Mowbray.